whether you knew it or not, you shaped what was to come next in hip hop and R&B.
Thank you.
Because you, what was important about what you did is that you merged both.
Yeah.
Okay, you were in the Uptown system, which was Jodeci, Mary J. Blige. Who else was in there? Christopher Williams. Whole sound, huh?
Yeah, Christopher Williams. Yeah.
So you were in the mix of a lot of that. You also were right there at the beginning of blending hip hop beats with R&B. Now, that was, Puffy kind of made that famous. You being on Uptown Records, I'm sure that you knew that the start of that was Fat Doug.
Yeah, Fat Doug with Come Talk to Me.
Yup. So Fat Doug was the first to take the hip hop beat and put it with the singing.
Yeah.
And then being that Fat Doug was on Uptown, if Puffy saw that, Puffy saw that, he saw the formula, and he said, "Listen, we're gonna go all the way with that." Was that Come and Talk to Me before you put out your first record?
No, I came first. I was the first artist, and then I put Jodeci on Treat 'Em Like You Want to Be Treated, and then I came with I'll Do For You, and then came the album, and then Jodeci was writing back at me with Gotta Love was their first single, and then after that it was Forever My Lady, and then came Come Talk to Me with Fat Doug. Remix.
So my thing to you is this. First of all, how did you even get started in rap? What started you? What was, do you remember your first time wanting to grab a microphone and do this?
Yeah. I'm from Brooklyn and I'm raised in Queens, Far Rockaway, Queens. I got kicked out of Brooklyn. I was a bad kid, and the judge, they really kicked me out of Brooklyn, like literally kicked me out. And my mom's had to go to, she moved us to Far Rockaway. And I remember still sneaking into Brooklyn because I was just that dude. And I was just going, and they used to have block parties, in the parks. And I used to see the DJ. I was wanting to be a DJ.
Okay.
And I just seen this kid get on the mic and pick the mic up. And I was like, what the hell he doing? I thought he was going to, hype the crowd up, whatever. But when he started rapping, I was just watching him, and I saw him, and I was like, wow, okay. And then they, at one time, DJs were the upfront guy.
Yes.
And then the MC took over and dominated and controlled that audience. And I was like, man. And then you got Rapper's Delight, King Tim III, all of those records that came. I'm the King, the TIM. And my real name is Tim, so I used to always, say that. And I was like, and you could get paid for this? I didn't have a plan B. You know what I'm saying? That was my plan A. From then on, I just started going in the paint with it.
Now, you're doing your thing, but how do you wind up at the legendary Uptown Records? How do you wind up in Uptown? Because, there's a lot in between that, but how do you wind up in Uptown?
I met Kirk Woodley, an A&R. He was the A&R for Uptown. And he took me under his wing, stopped me from paying for my own studio, everything. So he took me under the wing, started taking me to studios, different studios uptown in Harlem. I started going there, but Kurt, every time I wrote a record, Kurt would want me to change this, change that, change this, change that. And I didn't know that at that point he was formatting me for, to start making real records. And I was sponging it all up, but I got tired of him telling me to take this out, take this out, take this out, take this out. And our first record we was doing was called Doing It in the Park. Remember that record, Doing It in the Park?
In the park.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And we kept going to the studio 40 times. Change this, change that. And I'm like, damn. So I was like, and then he had me come to Uptown. And I was amongst the Albie Shore, the Jeff Red, the Guy. You know what I'm saying? I was around them, and I was seeing Heavy D, and I was a fan. So I was like, wow. And then next thing you know, Andre didn't pay me no attention whatsoever. He wasn't paying me no attention. I got tired of Kirk telling me to change my words, and I wasn't getting nowhere with Uptown. So I was like, you know, forget it. So I went and I met Dante Ross.
Mm-hmm.
I met Dante. That's when he was the president at Tommy Boy.
Okay, so tell people who Dante Ross is. I know who Dante Ross is. But
Dante Ross is a record executive that was at Tommy Boy at one point, and he offered me a situation at Tommy Boy. So he gave me some paperwork, and then he told me one day in the studio, he told me, yo, I'm leaving Tommy Boy, but I could put you on Tommy Boy. I'm going to, I think, Electra. And he was going to Electra. He said, it's going to take me 6 months, but if you come with me and you wait it out with me in 6 months, I'll put you on with Electra. And I was like, sounds good, but I was like, you know, he still was my guy because he was giving me paperwork. He put me on the Tommy Boy and Electra, so now I got paperwork. So I went on my own. I went on my own still. I was like, I'm still going on my own. I met this cat named CJ from Jamaica. He was a producer. And we made this record, It's Time to Go Prom. And it started circulating in the industry. So then that's when all of the companies came, like Sony. That's when Def Jam, Leo Cohen gave me a contract. I was with a record company called Stupid Fresh Records. I was on an independent from Far Rockaway.
Okay.
LL Cool J's mother took me to meet Leo Cohen. I mean, to meet LL Cool J's mother.
Hold on, stop. LL Cool J's mother took you to meet
Leo Cohen at Def Jam.
How did you wind up dealing with LL Cool J's mother, and what was she doing in the music business? Because I never heard anyone talk about LL Cool J's mother in a business perspective.
I knew a lady named Linda. And she was trying to manage me. And she introduced me to, she took me to LL Cool J's house. And I met his mother. And me and the mother got along. And she said, I'll never forget, they set it up. After I left the house, I get the call, we're going to meet LL's mother. And I was like, yo, you know, I'm working in Kentucky Fried Chicken at this point. I'm like, we're going to meet LL Cool J's moms. I was like, oh my God. She took me shopping. We met LL's moms. She had me rap for her. I rapped for her, and she said, okay, cool. And she was real cool. And next thing you know, she called Linda and said, Tuesday, have father meet me in the city. Met her in the city. We walk into Leo Cohen's office. Leo Cohen, I'll never forget. I just sort of, like back in the day, they used to have these calendars. And they used to have where you're going, like LL Cool J going to Europe and how much he's getting, like 15,000, 20,000 here. Right. You know, and I'm looking at, I'm taking it in. I'm like, oh shit. And then I know I'm signed to this independent label. Leo Cohen says, let me hear something. I start going. I let him hear the record Prom. He was like this. He says, you'll be out of that contract. Don't worry about it. In my face, this guy picked up the phone, called the lawyer, and the lawyer said, well, you can start working with him if you want to, Leo, because we're going to beat this up. I'm sitting here like, shit. Leo gives me paperwork now. So now I got like 5 contracts, 3 or 4 or 5 contracts. So I go, now I'm cool. So now I'm just deciding on who I'm going with. And most likely I was going with Def Jam because Leo paid for the, you know. And next thing you know, I go to Uptown for management because I seen what they did for Albie Shore, you know, being with Kurt Woodley. I seen how I seen when Albie Shore didn't have nothing, from nothing to looking like he was rich. Right. And I saw the way Uptown was meant, like just bringing that cat together. And then I saw Guy. And Guy were my brothers from the beginning. Guy took me in under their wing from the beginning. And that's like, it felt like home to me. So I go for management. I'm playing the record, It's Time to Go Prom. This time I go, I don't want to be on Uptown Records either. Like I'm saying, forget y'all. I just want y'all to manage me. Mm. So Bob Celestin was the attorney. Bob is one of the biggest attorneys now in music, in the music game.
Yes.
Bob Celestin, Steve Lucas, who ended up managing me, they played the record. and they was like just bumping their heads, and they played it loud. And Andre Harrell I was standing near the door. Andre Harrell comes in, the door blocks me, so he don't know I'm there. And he runs in the room like, yo, who's that? Who's that? And they said, that's your man, Fall MC. Now I'm still in back of the door, and he said, yo, get that black nigga on the phone. And they said, well, you tell him yourself, he right there. So I pushed the door like this.
Right.
Dre gives me, it was on a Friday. I don't remember Rooftop and all of that, Latin Quarter, Rooftop. What was that other one? Union Square. Union Square. Yeah. So it's a Friday night. Dre says like this, almost 5 o'clock. Dre calls Eloise in. She used to work for Uptown. She, and he said, Eloise, I need you to go to the bank, get me $1,000.
Hold on. $1,000 back then would be the equivalent of 10 grand.
10 grand right now. Dre gave me $1,000 and told me, listen, I want to welcome you to Uptown. Before he gave me the $1,000, he gave me the gas. Like, yo, my man, I want you're going to be this, you're going to be that. And they was like, Dre, you don't want the record deal. You don't want the record deal. Dre looked at me like, I'll never forget, God bless him. He looked at me like, what? We the home hits. And they had all my contracts there, right? So Dre looked at all the contracts. He says, look, take this $1,000. You don't owe me anything. If I can't beat these guys by Tuesday, then we will manage you and you don't owe us nothing. This $1,000 is a gift. I was like, shit, I waited this long. Shit, let me wait it out. I'll never forget, Bob Celestin told me, he said, before 5 o'clock Tuesday, we're going to call you. So I'm at Kentucky Fried Chicken now. I'm like, damn, like, come on. And he calls me exactly at 4:30. And he says, your father. I was like, yo, what's up? He said, you could quit. I said, quit? I said, Bob, stop, man. You know I'm that dude. You know I'll quit. Bob said, you could quit. He said, we got some money for you until, we got the deal memorandum. He said, we got a check for you. And then when you you sign, we got, I had a huge advance because I had a bidding war. So it was the contract, the deal was so crazy back then. And the dough they gave me considerably for back then was crazy if it was right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
it would be the equivalent of what right now? How much money would it be the equivalent of?
Probably $3 million.
Okay.
Around $3 million. And that's what record labels was giving you advances.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I'll never forget, we went into the studio and I started making albums.
But hold on. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What happened to LL Cool J's mother after that?
We were real cool. She's real cool. LL's moms she stayed in the mix, and it was like she did the favor for her girlfriend. But she knew I was an artist. So I had to go with what I had to go with. Leo was salty at first, Leo Cohen. You know what I'm saying? He was salty, But then as he was years, like salty. But I just don't believe they were so hardcore and I wasn't the dude. So I don't think that they could have done what Uptown did for me. I'm not saying they couldn't. I just really, in my gut of guts, I think I went with the right house.
You definitely went with the right house. Were you that guy from the beginning? Because I never heard that first record. Were you the guy from the beginning that was like, you were talking directly to women in the early 90s. You see that now. You see Trey Songz and guys doing that. But you were the absolute first person. Treat them like they want to be treated. I'll be good to you. All those records. Did they tell you to do that, or was that you?
Well, that was me. They told me I was hardcore. Like I was going in. And I had a record that Dre was about to put out called I'm Back. And the album was going to be called This My Turn. Bob Celestin calls me to lunch and say, him, Puff, Andre, and Steve Lucas want to meet with me. So I'm thinking it's about the album at this point. So I'm like, okay, I get down there. I'm happy. I'm like, yo, what's going on? They all had screw faces. And Bob was like, look, money, we not putting out this record. I was like, oh shit. So everything started going in my dome. Like, did I sign? These guys are dropping me, and did I sign with these dudes? And now I can't go back to all the rest of them because I picked them.
And you can't go back to Kentucky Fried Chicken either.
Can't even go back. And the dough was gone.
Right.
And the dough was gone, the event. So they said, you know, Bob was hard too. Like, I don't know if he was trying to impress Dre or whatever, but he said, it's your turn. Your turn for what? What's your turn for? And the way he was hitting me and coming at me, I didn't understand. He said, all right, you back. He said, I want to know something, father. You back from what? He said, it's exact words, nigga, where you back from? You back from what? The projects? You back? That's what he said to me. I was like, this, oh shit. And back then I was a little different. You get what I'm saying? Not the mannerable kid, the more street edgy, like I'm playing in the Duke, you know, thinking in my head. And Dre says, yo, listen, cut it out. He says, this is what I'm going to offer you, father. He says, if you let us do an album, we'll trash this album. We'll do it our way. He says, I think you can be a household name. He says, we'll do it our way. If our way don't work, we'll exercise our option. At that point, I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. But he said, we'll exercise the option to do it your way. But if you do it your way, I'm going to give you an option to do it your way or take ours. If you do it your way and you flop, we're dropping you. If you do it our way and you flop, we're going to let you do it your way. You're going to give you a second try. I said, it ain't no brainer. I'm rocking with y'all the way y'all want to do it. And then I'll never forget the Source magazine. I think it was one of the first issues when we had the Uptown. It had the whole Uptown. And we were like, this is crazy. I tell people we did the Death Row stuff before Death Row. We had the little circles of the pictures. And I was dead smack in the middle. And I was like, and it looked so powerful. And that's the first time I ever seen me in the magazine. First time I ever seen Father MC. And I was just like, oh, shit. Like, they just put me on Scoop, they put me, when you walk outside, and I'm on the Source. Back in those days when the Source just came out, everybody, I ain't have no videos, no records, nothing. Everybody just was like, Father. It was a different Father MC. People were reacting different because they knew something was in the hat, in the oven baking. I said, okay. And then I started going to like Uptown, because I used to always hang out Uptown. And every time, and people just started knowing me. And I was just like, oh shit, this is real. This is real. You know? And when we did Treat Them Like You Want to Be Treated, God bless Mark Morales, Prince Marky D, and Corey Rooney, you know.
Oh, they produced that?
They
produced that together? Corey Rooney and Marky D were behind that?
Prince Marky D and Corey produced like majority of my hit records.
Ooh. They
did Treat Them, they did I'll Do For You, they did Everything's Gonna Be All Right. They did a lot of my stuff. And when we did Treat Them Like You Want to Be Treated, after that meeting with Dre, I'm on the Long Island Railroad now thinking, what am I going to do? What I'm going to do? I don't even know what type of records this guy's talking about. I get on the Long Island Railroad. I see these two crackheads, a guy and a girl. I'm thinking everything. I'm livid at this point. Everything is getting on my nerve. And that's when we had the beepers. And Prince Marky D hit me up. Now, his exit was Rosedale or Rochdale, I forget. And mine was Mott Avenue. So I was like, let me get off. I ain't got nothing to do. I'm going to get off and call Mark, see where he at. He was at Green Acres Mall. But before I got off, I'm waiting, the train's still going. I see these two crackheads. And the lady said, she was arguing about something. And she said, you don't treat me the way I want to be treated.
Crackhead love, okay.
And that shit stuck with me all the way. So then, while I'm walking to the to the Green Acres Mall from the train, I just start mumbling, treat them like you want to be treated. And that used to get me, because I used to walk all the time. That used to get me to places quicker, because I used to,
Right.
you know, and then I just started saying, I got this idea. And Mark was in the mall, and he met me and said, yo, I'll never forget, he had that Porsche, and he said, come on, let's go. Corey's at the house. I didn't know Corey, and I didn't know Corey lived in Wavecrest in Far Rockaway. So I go, I write the record, I come up with the hook, I write the record. At the end of the day, Corey is a singer as well. So Corey starts singing, treat them like you want to be treated, you know, and you know how they, in pre-production, you make shit sound. And I wrote the record, so we did the record.
Now, wait, hold on. Now you're writing pro-woman lyrics at this time, right?
Yeah.
Nobody did, and you came up with the idea to do that, right?
I came up with all my records.
Okay, cool.
I came up with the idea.
I'm telling you to tell you, make records like this. They just told you we're gonna go in a different direction. You came with that, and then you presented that to Uptown.
Yeah, this is how it happened. So I go to, and I was messing with Howie T. I was messing with Fresh Gordon. I was messing with a lot of name producers back then that were big back then. And none of them could give me my sound I want. So I went to Mark, and Mark and him, when I got there, I was like, I ain't leaving here, man. This is home. I know where I'm at. It felt good. We made Treat 'Em Like You Want to Be Treated. We made a couple of records. Took it to Dre. Took it to Andre Harrell's. He listened to it. He said, y'all got something right here. He said, but I ain't paying for it. I got to hear the record. Prince Marky D said, yo, Dre, listen, we just wanted to bring the pre-production to you. If you said you liked it, we ain't even going to charge you yet. We'll charge you if you pick up the record. And Dre said, y'all serious? And don't forget it. And Prince Marky D said, yeah, let's go. They had me in the toughest studio in the Bronx, the baddest studio ever. Franklin Grant was the engineer. And we got in there and we laid that. And I'll never forget, it was a snowstorm. We laid that. I'm in the Bronx while I laid it. I'm trying to talk to all the girls. It's like they taking me while they working. At the end of the day, we did that. We did I'll Do For You. We did Lisa Baby. We did a gang of records. They take it back to Dre. Dre is flabbered. Like, that's the same record. And then how we got Jodeci. Puff comes, calls me. Yo, I got these cats. Jodeci, that we just signed. I said, yeah, I know them cats. I know them. He said, like, yo, dude, I went in the studio and I put them on the record. I want you to hear the record.
Oh, so Puff took the record that you gave to Andre Harrell. He went in on the sneak and made the
I was out of town. I was out of town. He called Prince Marky D. See, this was going on while I was out of town now. When I came back in town, I'll never forget, I'm in Far Rockaway at my house talking to Puff, and he was like, yo, I just want you to hear your record, money. I want you to hear what we did. And when I heard Jodeci, I was like this, oh my God.
You know something? It's so funny because that sounds like something that Puff would do. It's like it sounds like that is exactly what Puff would do. Puff took the record, made it the way he wanted, called you and said, yo, bro, I got an idea.
That's how it went.
I want there's these new cats, Jodeci, but he had already done the record, and he gives it to you. So you don't even have a chance. But
I'm gonna bug you out.
But it's hot though. It's hot.
I'm gonna bug you out. So now, Andre has said, I'm forcing this record out. Album's not done. We had I'll Do For You. We put Dave Hollister on I'll Do For You. Nobody never heard that record.
Oh, wow.
And Treat 'Em blew up so much that every radio station, that's why I had so many remixes of Treat 'Em. The album wasn't done, so Dre just kept servicing them. Jimmy Jenkins kept servicing the world different remixes of Treat 'Em Like You Want to Be Treated.
Shout to Jimmy Jenkins. Shout to Jimmy Jenkins, man. I remember Jimmy Jenkins.
Yes, and Dre didn't want that to happen for I'll Do For You. So he said he went back to all the producers and said, I want the remixes done now. I want them done now. Father is on the road. I'm on the road ever since that record came out. They was trying to put me in studios in different states. It wasn't working. It just wasn't working because I was touring. You know what I'm saying? And I was
hit now.
Yeah, this is promotional tour. I wasn't even getting paper.
Oh,
I was just doing promotional for MCA, the parent company. So they Dre called for the remixes. Mark and Corey again with Mary. If You Do For Me, and they put the Cheryl Lynn sample in. And that was supposed to be a remix. And then Dre, sitting at his office, he says, this is the single right here. This is the one I'm going with right here. I look at this time, the world didn't know Dave Hollister. I'm like, what you gonna do with Dave? He's like, this is the song. This is the joint.
Wait, do you have that Dave Hollister version?
Dude, I wish. Corey Rooney has it, though, I believe. Corey Rooney, I could try if you need it. I could try ask Corey.
I would love to hear that, man.
Dude, it was crazy.
Just to hear what he did.
Man, you don't even understand. I put all the people on the records when the world never heard them. I just felt they soul. And when I felt something, Puff used to always say, uh-oh, you going to put them on your shit, right? Yep. And Dre used to tell me, I used to ask Dre, yo, could I? He said, you got the budget, do what you feel. You should have never told me that.
That's a dope way. That's a dope way to approach it. So now here you are. We're in what year? What year is? What
90.
Year
I dropped.
Okay, 90. Now during that time, if you study history, EPMD is talking about the crossover. People are mad at MC Hammer for crossing over, but you're making legitimate pro women, non-tough guy, friendly urban records. How is the industry taking you? Are you getting shade from people?
I got it went kind of both ways a little bit, but it's crazy because it really wasn't. It really wasn't. You got some characters that used to be like I ain't gonna mention the group. Right.
Go for it, man. Go for it. Why not?
They said, yo, you sold out. I said, sold out? I said, how sold out? And they said, the singing with the chorus. I'm like, all right. But I'm getting paid, nigga. I'm selling out. I'm selling out across the world, getting paid. At the end of the day, next year, their album come out, and they got singers on their shit. So at the end of the day, I went back to them. I said, yo, I sold out. And they started laughing, and it became a joke. But the thing of it is that I always made records to what I wanted. I never catered to who liked what. I catered to what fed my soul. At the end of the day, I'm in the ocean by myself. So I felt that's what it was, and I had to do. The Source magazine, when they came out, they had, I was R&B, so they had something to say. But me and Puff stepped to them in the tunnel, and we ain't never hear nothing else ever again.
Hold on.
Puff wanted to beat the niggas up.
Who did you step to in the tunnel from the Source?
I don't know.
What was that conversation?
We stepped to two white boys. I forget who the hell they were, but they were the owners, I believe. Benzino wasn't even around at that time. It was two white boys that we stepped to that was the owners. And I'll never forget, in the tunnel, Puff came to me like, yo, no, it was the writers, whoever wrote the ad, whoever wrote whoever
wrote the article about it.
Right. And then next thing you know, they never say nothing else again. What
was the conversation? What was the conversation when you stepped to them? What did you say?
I said, yo, what's up? And they was like this. And then they were white. That's what made it even worse, because they was white. And I didn't understand how they understood where we came from and what we do. You get what I'm saying? So it was it wasn't no, you know what I'm saying? But it was these niggas is about to get it. And then when the crowd saw us in confrontation, it kind of, and of course the security broke it up. But
so you kind of had to let them know, don't let the R&B fool you.
Don't let the suit fool you. And
I think
that's why the streets, like I did an interview when the kid said, I know the real Father MC. I knew Father before the industry Father. So they got it. Like, and being in Brooklyn and the stuff I did, you know what I'm saying? And then when I got to Rockaway, the stuff I did, I was a youngster just living. So of course I was exploring shit. I was trying to see what it was, you know, and I didn't have it. Like I said, I didn't have a plan B, man. I ain't have a plan B. So they always say you got to have a plan A and you got to have a plan B. Plan A was all I had.
Right.
All I had. It was plan A is trying to get this rap thing going, and plan B was selling drugs if it did.
Okay.
That was it.
Good. Thank the Lord plan A worked. Now,
that's right.
You're in that building with the young Mary J. Blige. I remember going to, because at one point I was going to sign to Uptown with Puff. And I remember going to the building, and Mary J. Blige was in this building. It's a very young Mary J. Blige. She actually had her hair like, you know, like the koala bear, you know, with the two puffs and the cabangas and the little cabangas. This is how young Mary J. Blige. This is how young all of us were. I didn't even know Mary like that. They were like, "This is Mary." I didn't know her like that. I said, "Hey, what's going on?" I kept it moving. What was it like being around that young Mary J. Blige, that young Jodeci? What was the energy like in Uptown at that time?
Man, the energy with Jodeci was like, I used to just like, I was like, these brothers could sing their ass off. You get what I mean? And to hear them, I used to just like, KC, JoJo. I used to always say to myself, which one is better? Which one is better? Like, I couldn't put my finger on it because KC was so, go get him. And JoJo was so smooth. You get what I'm saying? But they worked that formula. When they worked together, it was like they knew exactly what it was. With Mary, it was different. Mary was real nice. But if you got on her other side, she didn't care. I remember we used to be on tour doing promos, and Mary didn't feel like going to the radio station. She wasn't going, money. She wasn't going. She didn't care about Uptown. I'm sleeping. She didn't care about MCA knocking on the door saying, "Yo, Mary, get your ass and go." She didn't care about none of that. And if they said something, she'd curse them out. And that's what I loved. I love that Mary J, man, because I mean, I knew she was creating a diva. I knew she was going to be who she was. I knew it. I saw it in the making. I knew when she didn't care at the largest radio station we was at, and she was supposed to go on right after me. And this is like in front of like 20,000 people. And Mary was upstairs asleep. And I'll never forget, the program director went and called MCA and said, not only am I dropping Uptown Records, I'm dropping everything on the playlist for MCA as well. And you know, MCA had Bobby Brown, they had everybody. You name it. And they threatened them like that. MCA called Uptown, yelling at Dre. Dre's calling, where's that label that radio station played Mary forever, because Mary was becoming huge. And if they stop playing her, the other station up the block is playing her. So they couldn't afford to. They couldn't afford not to. That's how big Mary was coming.
Wow. And now, everybody, when they think of KC, they think of thuggin', wild dude. Was he like that with you? Was he that like wild kind of dude with you?
They ain't gonna be like that to me. They ain't gonna do that. They wouldn't be like that to me. Nah, I never seen it. Like, I heard back in the days, like KC used to do certain things. I ain't never see it. And I used to be with him because I was on the road with him. I toured every album, all 3 albums. Toured 2 years. I went on tour. Every time I dropped the album, that's why the album are 2 years apart. Because I did a year in the state, I did a year overseas, come back, make the album. I went on tour with Hot 5 Troop, Candyman, Tony, Salt and Pepper. The next tour I jumped on was EPMD, Eric Sermon, EPMD, Father MC, Chubb Rock, DJ Quick, and what's his name? Whatever his name is. But whoever. We jumped on that tour. Then it would be Father MC, Mary J. Blige, and Jodeci. And that's how it repeated. It just repeated. Every time we work on the album, it was so calculated because when I was in the studio making my album, Mary was coming down from hers because Jodeci was just getting it in. So we all had hits, and that's how Uptown used to plan it. And we used to go and destroy it everywhere we went. That tour was, I tell people, like, Uptown was the soundtrack of people's lives in the 90s.
Yes, it was. I agree.
You know, and so many people come to me, and I know they came to Jodeci, and I know they came to Mary and said, like, I know they heard it, like, yo, I made kids off of your records. You know what I'm saying? I'm a rapper, so I'm like, yep, you made kids with me rapping. Like, he's like, yo, you know, in my DMs on Instagram, brothers come up and tell me, man, I used to rock your haircut. You know, I used to watch you. Like, I was wearing, like, I was wearing Versace before everybody thought Versace was popular. I had a Rolex before. I didn't know what I was wearing. I knew what I was wearing.
Were you styling yourself, or was that Puff?
No, not Puff. Nah, that was Sybil Phoenix. You know, Sybil was styling everybody at Uptown. You know, and she was doing it, and it was her vision. You know, I'd tell them what I wanted to wear. She picked stuff out, but this is what I wanted. You know, when I fired my dancers and Puffy had to meet me in LA, I was in Alaska. And I fired my dancers because we was in Alaska and we were shooting a TV show. And my dancers came to me and said, yo, Father. And I was with George Harrell. Harrell. He was my road manager at the time.
I spoke to George Harrell about a week and a half ago. He's from my hood. Shout out to George Harrell.
Yeah. So George took me out because he had to show my road manager the ropes. Because, you know, George was road manager for every Uptown artist in the beginning. You know, Guy, I'll be sure, all of them. Finesse and everybody have. And when he took us out, you know, he showed us what to do, what not to do. So we in Alaska and we getting ready to go on. I felt something funny though, right? Because I had Arsenio booked for as soon as we leave there. 5 minutes before I'm supposed to go on, my road manager comes to me, knocks on the door and say, yo, them niggas ain't dressed. I said, they ain't dressed. He said, nah, man. He said, they want to have a meeting with you real quick. I said, I ain't got time for the meeting money. I said, what they want, they want more dough. I said, so they gonna wait. They gonna wait now. Right now? I said, all right, cool. I said, yo, man, yeah, I got it. No worries. We did the show. George Harrell was livid. I called Puff. I said, yo, Puff, man, this is what happened.
Can't hear you. Okay, now I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead. So you call Puff.
Okay. I called Puff. He said, I'm going to meet you in Cali. George calls Puff and Andre Harrell. I think Puff said, fire them niggas immediately. I'm like, I can't fire them because we're doing Arsenio. He said, I'll have some dancers meet us out. They in rehearsal right now. I'm going to get them in rehearsal right now. Man, I called Puff a half an hour later. He was at the rehearsal studio with the two dancers, making sure they was getting the record, right? They met me, Puff and the dancers met me in Cali. George Harrell went to both of the dancers and got 2 tickets on Greyhound. Separate rides. So from Greyhound to New York. From Alaska to New York.
Yeah, well, hold on, sir. You can't even go. You can't. How can you go?
I mean, not Alaska, Seattle, Washington. My bad. Seattle, Washington.
Right.
Seattle, yes. Because we had to go to we went from Seattle to Alaska to Cali. Yeah, right.
That makes sense. Seattle, because
right,
at that time, Seattle was the closest point.
and he got 2 Greyhounds and separate tickets, so they both were separate buses. He ain't even give them a chance to talk to each other.
Right.
And then I went.
That's
me and
savage.
Pop.
That yo, bro. That's savage to put dudes on Greyhound. Not a plane. You know, it takes 7 days.
7 days.
Back to the East Coast on Greyhound.
And then we rocked Arsenio. Me and Puff, it was like it just went to show you, like, you got to be prepared for any and everything.
Right.
You know, me and Puff had a blast. We in the Beverly Center chasing each other down, but he had this shorty, and we just bugged. We wowed out. We wowed out. And Puff always was like, "Yo, we can do this shit. Come on, man, let's go." Even at the Apollo, like, I was petrified at the Apollo the first time I ever did it, and I was like, "What the?" Because I seen artists. I used to be one of the cats that used to go to the Apollo and boo niggas on purpose.
Right. That was the game.
The thing to do, yeah. So all I remember is touching that rock and going and doing my thing. And when the Apollo, and we lit it up, and it was crazy. That's the only. Do you believe I done toured the most biggest Wembley Arena, Madison Square Garden, and Yokosuka in Japan? I mean, every huge arena, and I was afraid of the Apollo. And for some reason, every time I touched the Apollo, with hit records, I was nervous until I got on that stage. It was beautiful, man.
You know what it is? And the same thing for me. The first time that I ever did the Apollo, I was scared as hell because Madison Square Garden is one thing, but the Apollo is your people. And when the first time that I went out there, man, and I was nervous as shit. Same thing you said. You touch, even sometimes when they do amateur night, the rock or whatever it is, the piece of wood is in front. But when you don't do it, when you're just performing there, it's in the back. And I made sure I touched the rock. I mean the wood or whatever. And when I went out there, when you see your own people, when you see 2,000 of your own people in there, it's a different kind of feeling because you know that this is it right here. And God willing, when that record came out, boom! And when you hear that from the Apollo, there's nothing like that, man. Now, a couple of different things. You're in Uptown. You're in the thick of this, right? So you're there with Mary J. Blige and KC, and now they're getting together. They have a relationship and they're dating. Are you on the road with them as that's happening?
Hell yeah. Me and Mary shared a tour bus when she was dating KC.
What was that like?
Beautiful. She had in the beginning, for I think around 10 seconds of us getting on the tour bus, my crew and Mary's crew had an attitude. Because your tour bus is your home. Right. So my guys are used to having their Timberlands on, we playing dice, they drinks, and bugging out, wilding out. They felt that they had to push back a little bit because we had Mary. And Mary only had Easy Lee, that was her DJ, and the road manager, I forget the road manager name, but they were the only 2 males on the bus for Mary's camp. And Mary had all the girls. We get on there, and next thing you know, everybody was like, 10 seconds later, when that bus started moving, it was like, it was welcome home. And our bus was the bus to be on. Our bus, because our bus, you get off, like Jodeci had 2 buses, because they had their bus for them, and then they had the bus for the band.
Right.
Me and Mary had our bus, and we had all the girls, I had all the guys, and when you get off the bus, you just see us, and we getting off laughing and, cracking jokes and just bugging out. And you could just see, like, damn. It was crazy, man. It was crazy.
So you were there, because I remember at that time they were touring, you guys were all touring, and they were in a relationship together.
Yeah.
You said it was good. Were you there? What did you see? Like, nobody knows about them being on the road and what they were like and being in that relationship. What did you see actually?
All I used to see was, I'll never forget, we was in Germany and I'm going to get me a soda. And this is before anybody knew that they was dealing, right? So I see Mook, God bless their bodyguard Mook from Jamaica. I see them holding hands, going past the soda machine. And I looked and I said like this, I said, huh? And he looked at me and did like KC face. You just saw KC face like this, like. I said, yeah, I said, hey. I just threw my hands up. I was like, hey, whatever.
KC was tight. KC was tight. He was holding it down in security, but you saw KC being a little tight.
He wasn't tight. He was like, damn, father done seen us. Like, damn. But after that, I mean, they was like boyfriend, girlfriend. We wasn't even, I didn't care about Casey and Mary at that point, like dating. It was too many women on the road. Like, it's crazy. It's like, man, it was crazy. It's too many women on the road for you to be even caring. Like, I never seen the fights. I never seen none of that stuff that people said. I was too busy doing me. I wasn't caring about it. You know what I mean?
What another person that was a huge part of Uptown was Puff. What was early Puff like? I know early Puff as being an artist, wanting to sign me, all of that kind of stuff. A lot of people don't know about early Puff in terms of being in the mix with him at Uptown. What was Puff like back then?
Being Puff used to just wild out and bug out. And we used to go to Jack the Rapper, How Can I Be Down? And, at this point, Father was like out like crazy. And all the chicks was like crazy. So me and Puff used to go wild at How Can I Be Down, Jack the Rapper. It was crazy. It was crazy. To be honest with you, like I tell people, I have nothing bad, to really say, because I didn't go through nothing bad. I didn't go through my relationship. Uptown was excellent. I didn't go through anything really, in my heart of hearts, trying to think of what was the worst thing that happened at Uptown for Father.
What would it be? If there was something bad that happened, what would it be?
What would be bad that happened at Uptown? I had to tell Dre to give me $60,000 on a bet. We was in London at Wembley Arena, and Dre had just flew in. So we all backstage and everybody, they, chilling. And Dre started talking. It was like, yo, I just got here. And he said, Father, I bet you $60,000 you can't go and kiss anyone in the audience. I said, how you mean kiss? He said, I mean, get her on stage and tongue her down. Like, Dre, you forget who you talking to, cat?
Right,
At the end of the day, I've been there for 6 days, so I already had a chick out there. You get what I'm saying? She's with her man. So I'm thinking this is, Scoop. I'm thinking
wait, hold on. You had a chick that was, but she had a man.
She was with a man. But I didn't, I'm
savage. You savage.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I'm like, Dre, this is 60 grand, right? So I'm saying to myself, this is a bet beat. This is easy. Dre standing right on the side of the stage, and I called my bodyguard to get, he knew to go get my girls. I said, yo, go get her. And I act like I'm looking in the audience first, so I ain't want Dre to know. So I said, yo, can you come up here? And she's looking at me like this, like, no, don't do it, please. This is my man, don't do it. I'm saying to myself, look, you gonna turn your mouth, you gonna open your mouth, shit.
Tonight.
And then I kissed her, and she was like, and I kissed her, and Dre just looking, and Dre said like this, oh, that's some star shit right there. That's some superstar shit, right? So I said, all right, Dre. I said, Dre, how many times am I have to ask you when we get back to the States? I said, Dre, 60 grand was supposed to be in there. I said, you ain't gonna pay me, it's cool. I said, all right, you ain't gonna pay me. And Dre paid me. Literally paid me. Called Burt Padell, put it in his account. It was there.
Now, my question is this: did you see the face of her boyfriend when you did that? Did you pay attention?
I didn't even look at that cat. Didn't care.
All right. Did you hear from her again?
Yeah.
So did you hear? Did she leave the guy?
Up.
Oh, they broke up.
No. They broke up. No, they broke. I ain't mean to break them up, but it was like I'm gonna lose this 60 grand, and I might have to pay him 60 grand.
Well, why don't you give her 20 grand for the breakup? Fuck it, just give her the 20 grand.
Dude, we was out. After that, we were out. We was going to Japan after that.
When did you realize that Puff was an absolute genius?
When I was in DC. We were doing the stadium in DC and the arena in DC. And I'm on the tour bus getting something to go into the venue, and Puff was like, yo, I'm gonna give myself one day. He was letting me hear the cassette tape of Biggie. And he was like, yo, how you like this cat? And I was like, yo, Big is like the truth. And he said, I'm gonna make this nigga the biggest nigga in the world. And he said, watch this, I'm gonna be bigger than anybody I ever worked with. I'm gonna give myself $1 million deal. At that time, $1 million was like $1 billion now.
And it was $1 million was 10 million, 20 million back then.
Yeah, and he says, I'm gonna give myself $1 million. I'll never forget that. And he did. And I wish I could find this article I did before Puffy was even Puff. And I was saying Puffy's gonna be the biggest guy in music. You give him 15 to 20 years. I said that before Puffy was anything. And, you know, I remember it was the day of, I was supposed to perform at the Tunnel. And Puff knew I had to do something. And I came just because it was Puff, right? Because I would have easily said, man, I got to do something. Y'all niggas had, but I did it. And Puff seen me because I just got there. He said, yo, man, I know you got it. Yo, go and handle your business. I got this. Don't even worry about it. I said, you sure? And never forget. And then the lady had seen me and asked me, could I give a small interview about what's going on? And then she interviewed me about Puff. And I said, yo, 20, 30 years, that boy gonna be the biggest guy in the music, on the music scene in the industry.
What's your relationship with Puff right now? Have you seen him? You talked to him?
I've seen Puff. I haven't seen Puff because our channel, I seen him when I was in Atlanta. In LA, I haven't seen Puff yet. You know, when I went to Revolt in Hollywood, you know, me and Andre used to have me come up there like a couple of times and just to hang out and bug out because I'm a jokester. So, but nah, I haven't seen Puff. But I mean, as soon as I see Puff, I know it'll go right back to normal.
Right, it go right
back to normal.
You're so much a part of what Puff became. It's no way that you hop right back into it. You were also there when Puff and Andre bumped heads. Now, Andre Harrell was not only an icon to me, but he was from my neighborhood. He was my ice skating teacher. One thing that people don't know about Andre Harrell was my ice skating teacher. Like, one thing people don't know was Andre Harrell was an amazing ice skater. He could play hockey. He was amazing. So him and another dude named Lonzo. Lonzo and Andre were Jekyll and Hyde. Right. But and they were like icons in my neighborhood for rap, but they also used to ice skate. So they would be skate guards at this pool called Lasker Pool on 110th Street and Lenox Avenue in Harlem. So I understood how Andre was, and that was before Uptown, that was before anything. Right. That was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So I always understood what kind of person Andre was. He was very confident, but how he was cool, confident, but you weren't gonna bang heads with him. And then I knew Puff from about almost signing the Uptown Records, and my man Chill Will.
Whatever happened with that? Why you never signed to? Why you never signed to us?
I'll tell you why I never signed. I went in there and I tell this story frequently. I went into Uptown. Puff was my mentor is DJ Chill Will from the Get Fresh crew. So I came up in the Dougie Fresh. I came up in the Dougie Fresh Chill Will thing. That's why Fat Man Scoop, when I started doing crowd participation, I knew how to rock a crowd because I learned from Dougie Fresh and Chill Will. All right, so here's my story. I was signed to Gene Griffin and Teddy Riley.
Whoa. Okay. Okay. I'm following you.
Okay, so I'm from Harlem. So in Harlem. I'm making noise. I'm one of the rap niggas. Like I'm one of the hottest rap niggas. Me and Rob Bass came up under the Dougie Fresh system. So it's me, Rob Bass, and a couple other local rappers. We saw. I get so hot that Teddy Riley's brother Markel was like a street. He was like, do you know Markel?
Yeah, I know Markel very well.
So Markel was my man. We used to play dice together.
Yeah, that's how I know Markel.
Okay, Markel, oh man, that nigga broke me so many times in dice, man, to the point I would be angry at the nigga. He was like, don't worry about it. Get your dice out your pocket. And listen, he would fuck me up with my own dice.
Yeah,
so he was good. Markel was good. To this day, I'm looking for Markel. I actually got to call Markel and get at him. But anyway, Markel's brother was Teddy Riley. Didn't know this. But we hung in St. Nick Projects. So the building, St. Nick Projects is where Markel was. We hung there. We used to play dice and all that shit. He knew that we were the rap niggas. He took us to Teddy Riley. Teddy Riley heard our demo and was like, yo, I'm signing you right now. So I was part of GR Productions, which is Guy, Today, Rex in Effect, Xander Man, Redhead Kingpin, all that. I'm just a nigga. I was in your circle, but I just didn't know you because I wasn't there yet.
Right.
So I was there like when Gene Griffin would come across the street with the blinker and go see Andre Hill. I was there for all that shit. I was on it for a lot of the wild shit, right? So now Teddy Riley and Gene Griffin break up, right? So now I'm out of a contract. Chill Will comes to me and says, yo, we're gonna go, I'm gonna take you to my man Puff at Uptown. I get there with Puff, it's me, my man Sean C, and my man Steve D. We play our demo. Puff like, yo, fuck that, I'm gonna sign you right now. Let's do this right now. He's like, yo, here's what my plan is, bro. I'm gonna let you keep rapping hard, but then I'm gonna put you in a suit and tie, and I'm gonna make you for the chicks. I'm gonna let you rhyme hard in the beginning. Then I'm gonna put you in a suit and tie, I'm gonna make you for the chicks. So you're gonna be the hard nigga for the streets, and then you're gonna be like the heavy D nigga, like when I put you, you have both sides. Who did that become?
Not Biggie. Biggie, right.
So he was like, yo, fat nigga.
He already had a vision.
He already had that in his head. He just didn't have the person to do it. He was like, yo, fat nigga. He said, you a personable nigga. Yo, you put the shades on, you gonna be cool. We gonna make you a pretty boy nigga. You first you gonna be street nigga, then we gonna make you pretty boy dude. And I said, okay, cool. So now Puff is coming at me about this. He's calling my house all the time, man. My father would talk, God bless him, he would talk about it. Oh, I remember when that P. Diddy used to call the house. Puff would call all the time. Here's what I did. I said to myself, I am not a tough guy. I'm a funny dude at heart. If it's up to my family and you come with my family, then I have no choice. I'm going at you, my nigga. But as a whole, I'm just a family man, a funny dude, a comedian, all that kind of funny dude. I was smart enough to realize that if I started doing that, I was going to have to back it up.
Absolutely.
And I said, so if I started rapping about the streets and rapping hard, which were all my records were about, I was going to have to back that shit up. So then I said, I don't think I can do this. Because then I knew that I had to get all the gangsters from my hood, and I had to have them niggas come with me. Now, if you're not a tough nigga, and you bring thorough street niggas with you, that's gonna become extortion at some point. Whether it's a friendly extortion or whether it's a forced extortion, it's gonna become one or the other. I knew that, right? So I thought about it, so I can't do this. And there was something in my soul to do a different kind of music that was kind of based on De La Soul, shit like rapping is fundamental, shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. So I went back to Puff and I said, listen, man, I don't want to do that kind of music right now. I'm gonna do something that's closer to my soul. I gave the tape to Puff. Puff put the tape in the tape thing. It was me, my man Sean C, and Steve D. And the nigga listened to it. It's like some real experimental James Brown shit. That nigga took that tape and said, "Get that." He threw that shit across the room.
That sound like Puff.
You know Puff. You know Puff. So he threw this shit across. He threw it. Get this shit out. Get the fuck out of here with this. Come back to me with the shit. Come back to me with the real shit. So now I know that that's over. I called Puff back about a month and a half later. I said, yo, Puff, I don't even want to fuck with the music. I want to be in the music business. He said, yo, why don't you do something called promotion? Record promotion. I said, what's that? He said, when you call the radio stations and you make them play your records. And I was like, yo, Puff, you sure? He said, yeah, listen, come on down here, work for me, do the record promotion shit. Now, I think he thought that I was going to come down there and I would work and I would get tired of it and I'll go back to the shit that he wanted me to do, right?
Right.
But I made a decision that weekend before he told me to come in to go to another label. And I became a record promoter. Then I got on the radio. Then I became Fat Man Scoop. I wound up making records because I had to put my brother through school. And that was my story. The only reason I did not fuck with Puff is because I knew that I could not keep that shit up of acting tough. When you do that, you have to back that up. So when I'm in the street, when people see me in the street, the first thing they do is this when they see me on site. Fat Man Scoop, whatever, because I'm so synonymous for dancing, that's the shit they do. So I had to back it up. You were already a street nigga. You actually went in the other direction. And I noticed that the realest street niggas always make the friendliest records. Naughty by Nature, Trench was terrible.
Trench was my guy.
That nigga was terrible. The Trench and the niggas Double I and all that shit, the gang shit, them niggas was terrible. When they was making, hey, ho. How do I know that? When I got into the record promotion business, I ran Tommy Boy Records. So I was working Naughty by Nature. I broke the total record.
Bought Tretch in them in, right?
Huh?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, Latifah bought Tretch in them.
Yup. So the toughest niggas, the real niggas that'll knock you the fuck out, they make the happiest records. De La Soul, True Boy the Dub, that nigga will fucking kill you. He will kill you. That man will kill you.
Yeah.
But they make the happiest music. There was many a times that De La Soul was on the road and people would test them and they would clear the whole place out. 3 guys y'all think are weirdos, they'll clear the whole place out. Immediately. Get you out of here.
You know, we never had really beef on the road. We had beef one good time, and that was it. And I thought we was going to jail. I thought we was going to jail for murder.
What happened?
And we was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Marquand Smith is my brother. So he's the executive producer for Godfather of Harlem. That's his show.
Oh, wow,
and,
okay.
Yeah, I took my brother on the road because he got out of Spofford and he dropped out. He dropped out of school. And I said, this little dude's gonna get in trouble. He's gonna get in trouble. And I call him my brother because we different mothers, but from kids. You get what I'm saying? And I remember I was walking with my girl and I just came back from tour. I just came back from Africa. And this is the beginning of Father. But he used to always be with me going to the studio when we was trying to make it. You know, I had every color ballads. I gave it to my brother. You get what I'm saying? When I got tired of him, he'd take them. I gave him, me and him eating like crackers and soup, going to the studio in the van, the dollar vans, because we giving all the money to the studio. I seen him. I'm with my girl. I said, yo, listen, I'm going on tour. I'm going away. I'll be back this date. I said, I'm leaving for tour. My tour bus will be at my house at 5 a.m. If you're there, you got a job.
If you're not, you know.
Dude. And I saw, so me and my bodyguard to them, we outside, they filling up the tour bus with all the liquor, drinks or whatever. And all we saw was this 7 cab just coming like in the middle of the night, like damn near doing like 70, 80 miles an hour. And it stopped right in front of the tour bus. He gets out, no suitcase, man. He gets out with these black hefty bags. And I was like this. I said, get on the bus. I told my road manager, I said, we'll work on his salary when we on the bus. But get on. And he was the best thing ever, like the best thing ever. But in Knoxville, he was having sex with this dude's sister. So we upstairs, you know how to marry it. You could see down, you know, on the balcony, you standing there, you can see the elevator, the clear elevator. So we sitting there, and we was on tour with Hot Bob, Troop, Candyman, Tony, Salt and Pepper. Right. So this kid, so we go downstairs to the bathroom on purpose because he was eyeballing, and we just wanted to let him know we aware. So we go down there, and my bodyguard Big Dad said, like, yo, what's good, man? What's going on? You feeling all right? And the kid was like this, I'm tired of y'all niggas coming in my state and thinking y'all niggas taking all the chicks. We ain't say nothing. We go back up. He ain't want to smoke. We go back up and we chilling near, George had 2 white girls in his room. So we there. So my brother's in this room. George is in this room. The elevator's right here. We talking to Big Will and them from Tony. And he comes up with a cane. He takes the elevator up. We said, I knew we was going to have to get this guy the cane. This guy comes up, knocks on the door to where my brother's room is. So we all right there. And Smooth said, yo, if you come back up here again, it's done. You're done. At the end of the day, the guy went downstairs, act like he went to go get some heat. He came back. That was it. That was it. It was over. Pounded him out. Then Tony and them niggas, they are not, everybody, like the way they dress, you think different, money. Better think different. They had this bodyguard, Big Will. Man, shoo, God bless him. He was a street dude, big, like 300 pounds, but, you know, dreads and handle his business.
Getting it in.
And we go downstairs. So we chasing him. My brother comes out, grab the dude's cane. Bow. He's running down the steps. He gets down the steps. Next thing you know, my bodyguard, Smooth, he's standing right here. My bodyguard Smooth just walks past him like this, right? Wow. But just went, bow. Old dude turned around. Boom. Hit his head. Fell on a marble floor. Hit his head. Spoke, listen. He hit his head. Next thing you know, all you saw was gush of blood start rolling out. We called George, and George looked when he down. George like, go get Charlie. That was our bus driver. Go get Charlie. Let's get everybody get packed. Come on, let's get out of here. We on the bus going to the next state. My tour bus ain't never been that quiet, and everybody just sitting there like this. Next thing you know, we get to the next state. So I called this chick that I knew, and she was there. So she seen what was happening, and she was like, man, he didn't know what happened. He didn't even realize that y'all knotted this kid up. He forgot. He act like it never happened. That's lucky, how crazy it was. It was crazy.
Bro. You're lucky. You're very,
yeah, we dodged one, and it was like, whew, the road is dope. The road is dope.
But it can be scary. It can be scary.
It's very scary sometimes. Because you got to understand, you go into somebody's state in a city, and you got like 10 or 15 guys against a whole city. And you got to understand, when you get in a city, even if they got beef with this project, while you there,
they don't have beef with
they come together. They come together.
And you're coming in there, you're taking their women, you're taking their resources.
Immediately,
and they don't like it. And one thing that I've always told people is this, and you know, you and I now are seasoned, so it's more of a business to us.
Right.
The longer you stay in the club, the more problems. Black promoters, dudes trying to rob you on the way out the club. It's a million different things that happen on the road, and it can be crazy. I want to double back real quick. My last question, and then we're gonna get into new music, because you need to do that, bro. You need to bring that formula back. Puff and Andre Harrell, you were there during that time that they knocked heads and that Puff was eventually removed from Uptown. What was that time like?
Like I said, like I used to be the jokester. So you know, when Puff got fired, Puff still was coming to work. Like nothing happened. So, you know, but the day that he left, I was going on tour and I had seen him and I had seen the white van like outside. And I said to him, I remember saying the joke, I said, Puff, you want me to come with you? And we laughed and we hugged each other. And him and Dre, they butted heads, but they butted heads politically, not like I hate you, you know. And Dre, you know, it's like this, man. There's people that are geared to work for, like, let's say, Andre Harrell. You work for Andre Harrell, you could be right up under Dre. But if you don't take what he's doing and sponge it, I don't care how much you hang with Dre, you could never be Dre. Now, you got Puff that came in. Dre had him near Russell Simmons, near all of these big executives, Clive Davis, Russell Simmons, everyone who was somebody. So what Puff did, and I applaud him, he was a sponge. He reaped everybody's knowledge. A little bit of this from him, a little bit of this from him, a little bit of this from him, and put it together. So he knew how to maneuver. And in meetings, he knew the conversations. He knew how to talk to the lawyers and get different on them when they say shit, because he was hanging around all of the execs. And then he got the power from the backup with the people he was talking to, because they knew he was affiliated with Dre, Russell, and everybody else. So, of course, he did his thing. Smart, absolutely. And what he did was, you got to applaud him, because he went and got Dre. He went and got Andre Harrell back and said, yo, Dre, come work for me now.
Yup, that was a huge thing. And then you saw Dre working. You saw Dre working for him, which to me was, anybody can say whatever they want to say about Puff. Me and you know Puff on a different level. They can say whatever they want to say about Puff. But you can say whatever you want. But him bringing back his man that was his mentor, who got rid of him, bringing him back and having him work with him, I don't know if it was a sign of a show of I have the power. I don't know what it was. But to me, it
wasn't nothing malicious. It was straight. I love you. Thank you for without you giving me that opportunity. Now I know shit ain't really about Dre no more. Come work for Revolt. You still gonna get that respect and that status.
That's how I looked at it. I looked at it like, he said, yo, I'm coming back for you. And that was one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen anybody do. And you know, Puff can do what Puff do. Like you said, anybody can say whatever they want to say about him. But that I love about him. Final question. Music, bro. You have to bring this formula back. You're the one that really knows how to do it. Even at this time, that formula is worth something. What are you doing?
I have the new album. It's called Black Disney, and it's coming out. You know, I started Black Disney in the pandemic, and I said to myself when I stopped, I said, I'm gonna just relax and go visit all the places that I went to, that I enjoyed. I said, God's gonna tell me when it's time. And I'll never forget, I was sitting in my studio and I was just like playing with stuff, and something just said, go, it's go time. It's go time. And not because of the pandemic. So I made some records and I sent them out to some real hot DJs across the country, and like 5 of them that really, like, their word is significant. So I was like, okay, it's really all right. Let me go. And then I just kept getting the heat on me to do it. So I said, I'm gonna go full-fledged and let's see. And then what it was I started thinking like, dag, do I want to do this independent? Do I want to do this with a major? I'm about the business. Like, Father MC's gonna want that machine to do that machine. It's just point blank. I mean, I could come out independent and sell, probably do, you know, with the old fans and the new ones, probably generate 1 million streams, like go platinum again. I'm thinking bigger. I'm thinking if me and Diddy linked up the industry and tell Diddy, yo, go open up Bad Boy. Come on, let's go to work. You know, me and Diddy in a video, I think would explode the world.
I think. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is no nonsense. This is no BS. I think the two of you doing that can work. I think, my personal opinion, if you stick with the treat them like they want to be treated, I'll be good to you formula. If you stick with that,
you heard my records. You heard them.
Yo, listen, we got something. I don't care if it's today. I don't care if it's tomorrow, 2030. You got something, bro. You have something.
I appreciate that too, man. I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? In any way, you know, because again, I make records. I don't make records for dudes. I make records for women. So anything that I can do to help you, because I know which way you're going with what you're doing. Just hit me and I'll be there for you, brother. Period.
I appreciate it too, man. Definitely, definitely appreciate it. Definitely.
So I got you on that note. I want to thank you for coming through. Send me a DM because I gotta get the rest of your information, and then we'll work in the background. Thank you very much, brother. Love you, man.
Thank you. Love you too, bro.
God bless. God bless. That's Father MC. Father MC. What a hell of an interview. Hell of an interview, right?
Roger, tell these mother subscribe to the Prophet channel. I love you to death, and I will always love you, my father, regardless, because you didn't see what I had, you see what was deep in my heart.
With Prophet Muscle.
Yeah. The only man in the world who can do handstand push-ups with his fist.